talking about how can we get the system to stop comparing, because you will not have that problem, but the system is forcing you to compare. I don't have an easy answer, to be honest, because the challenge will always be there. In competitive economy, companies, organizations will have to look at promoting certain individuals. All organizations operate on the basis of having a command structure. You need a leader. Who should be the leader of that organization? Even a department head, a division head. Private sector operates like that. Everyone operates like that. But I think what we can do in Singapore is to encourage and promote a more egalitarian culture where we are all equals. We may have different roles. Not everyone can be the CEO. Not everyone can be the department head or the division head. But everyone should feel respected. Everyone should be treated equally. There's no need to have bow and scrape before your superiors. We are all equals. We can talk as equals. We can talk informally. And that's the kind of egalitarian ethos we want to have in Singapore. And we must always have. And if we do that well in Singapore, then hopefully you don't feel so pressurized. You don't feel like you're always comparing with one another. Yes, you may not get the promotion you sought for. Someone else may have gotten it, but you wish your colleague well. You may not get your desired role, but you focus on the work that you do. You do your work well, recognizing that eventually your talents will be recognized. As I said, go back to focus on your strengths and do your work well. Eventually, there will be possibilities for you to flourish. I say that from personal experience too. You know, when I started work in 1997, I joined the civil service. Back then, the civil service was not as enlightened as it is today. And they had different tracks of progression. And there were fast track, and there were normal track. I was not on the fast track. And my peers coming back from university and joining the civil service, some were on the fast track, and they were promoted faster than me. I understand fully the pressures, because then you feel like, oh, this is not fair. Why are some people benefiting more than others? And it's normal to compare. And because of those pressures, I did think of leaving the civil service at one stage. But over time, I met with mentors who encouraged me to focus on my work, think about the impact of the work I do in the public service. And when I reflected on it, they gave me opportunities to do more policy work. And I felt that the work was meaningful, so I stayed on. And I eventually continued on in the public service for 15 years before entering politics. And I found that meaningful, fulfilling, and I found it to be a calling. And I didn't feel the need after that to compare with others, because once you center and focus on what you think is meaningful and fulfilling, I think the comparisons become less important. And what's more important is that you feel like you've done your best. You feel like whatever you're contributing to is meaningful and fulfilling. And I hope all of you can find that, right? The pressures will exist, I acknowledge that, and it's impossible to remove it entirely. But try to find meaning, purpose in what you do, continue to excel, continue to develop, continue to grow, and hopefully with that attitude and mindset, you will feel less of a pressure to compare with others, you will feel less of a pressure in society at large, and we can all flourish and thrive in our own ways. That's the Singapore I hope we can all achieve together.